Hello, so today we're looking at column break practice. So this is not in the current week's set of skills, something we learned a couple weeks ago, but it's one of those things that you can't practice enough. Additionally, in this example here, you're going to see some things that you may not have seen before. So I'm going to take these instructions right here and I'm going to show you what the solution should look like. So when you're done, it's supposed to look like this. Now what I do want to point out is notice how these columns are formatted pretty evenly. There are purposeful breaks after each two paragraphs. You can see that in this example here. You can see it even more clearly if I show on the non-printing characters like that. And so you can see there are column breaks in place and there's a section break there. Now that you've seen that, really that's all there is to it. Now it's just a matter of putting all that into motion. So I'm going to create a new document, show my non-printing characters. So I'm going to type the heading multi-column practice. And I'm going to set the style of that heading to heading 1, and I'm also going to center it as per the instructions. Now I'm going to head down to the blank paragraph, and this is the part that I need to show you at some point, but it's also just type it exactly as I say to type it. So equals rand, so you are actually calling a function 6, 3. That means 6 paragraphs, 3 sentences per paragraph. I press enter and a bunch of random text. So why would you do that? Well, you wouldn't do that, but it is a nice way to generate just some text so you can format it, right? It's not as... It is what it is. I'm kind of a fan of that because it's easier than opening up a document over and over again. Okay, so if that didn't happen, then it means you spelled something wrong. It's equals rand 6, 3, no quotes around it or anything. Alright, so format everything below the title into a 3-column layout. So the naive approach would just be to head in here to columns, but you need to know that when you are mixing certain parts of your document, so this part's going to be 3 columns, this part is not. That means you are going to need a section break, and in this instance, a continuous section break is the only thing that'll work. So you want it here, which means I'm going to put my cursor 1 character past it, like this. Notice it's up here. You've seen me do some poster layouts where my section breaks take up the whole page, which is preferable, but I don't really have a paragraph to put it at, so that's going to be just fine. So everything up here is 1 column, everything down here is 3 columns. So I'm just going to click down here, right? Anywhere down here. Word looks at this as section 2 of my document. I go 3 and... Okay, so that looks pretty ragged, and now you might see why I said break it the way I said to break it. So there are 6 paragraphs, and so the destination is that. We want it to look like that. So there is a break after every 2 columns. So I want to break there, which means I'm going to put my cursor right there. Head into breaks, and here I want a specific kind of break, namely a column break. A column break is the correct way to go over to a new column. Very good, right? So that's better than doing this. This is bad formatting, so don't do that. Let me show you another way to do a column break, which a lot of people do, but it's not perfect, but it's workable. So if I want another column break, I'm going to put my cursor right here. Some people are going to put their cursor right there, and I'm going to show you that it kind of works, but it does create some small issues. I go like this. You're like, well, that seemed to work just fine. The problem, if we want to call it a problem, is that the paragraph mark gets separated from the paragraph, which is not a problem in itself, but if I turn off non-printing characters, imagine if I handed this to you, you'd say, what's going on right here? And so if you want to put your break there, then I'm going to say you need to delete your paragraph mark there. And so those both get you to the same place, but that feels kind of bad to me that it's kind of weird that you got a paragraph without a paragraph mark in it, so I'm a big fan of doing that. They both lead to the same place. All I ask is that you are consistent. So if you want to put your break there, then go ahead and clean up those columns, the paragraph marks. The last thing I'm asking us to do here is put a line between my columns. That sounds like a column thing. Don't see it here, so if you don't see what you're looking for, but you know you're close, go ahead into the dialog box, and sure enough, there's a checkbox right there. And there we go. That's the exercise. So notice I've got a section break, 2 column breaks, and a little formatting.